Welcome to day 16 of our 90-day challenge. This week, if you guys remember, we are working on our third-party stories, and we're going to work on it from a couple of different angles today. We're going to work on it from the new lead perspective, and basically the way that goes is we're going to pitch creative finance. They're going to say no. We're going to say, okay, cool. Well, this is how it could work potentially for you guys based on a previous example, right? We're going to relate their current situation to an example that we've experienced in the past. The other way that we're going to do it, we're going to call a couple of offers that we've sent out. And the way that that's going to work is they've declined our offer, but we just want to have a conversation, see what the other options are for the seller, and then get some more information. And then again, we're going to relay the information from a previous transaction into this one to see if it does make sense. And, largely what you're going to hear on those calls is me talking to them about, sounds like you guys aren't quite ready yet for this type of an offer. Let's keep this on the table for the next 30 days or so, and I'll follow up with you along the way to see if something changes. No pressure, right? We don't want to pressure sell anybody. So let's dive right into it. All right.
This is Jonathan.
Hey, Jonathan, this is Mike. How are you?
Doing good. How are you?
Good, thank you. I am calling you about a listing of yours. It's been on the market for about 30 days, the one on Brighton Boulevard in Panama City. And I just came across my desk. I apologize for actually getting to it late. Typically, I'm calling an agent pretty quickly. I'm looking for an investment property. And this is kind of how I'm looking at this one. I'm curious if this might be a good investment for a rental.
Yeah, definitely. That area right there is coming up, and it's pretty much a brand new home. It does have paid off solar panels as well,
Ooh.
So that's a plus for somebody that would want to rent it. So like her power bill is somewhere around, I think it's like $50 to $60 a month, and that's basically kind of just to keep that service with the connection with the FLP here, FPL.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I think it should rent out. With it being the size of it, I think it's somewhere around about $2,400 to $2,600 a month. Is what I kind of figured it would be. But it's in a nice area, good school zones and all that, so it's a desired area.
Yeah, it seems like a really cool neighborhood. What's the cost for the HOA by chance? Do you know?
Yeah, the HOA is, let me pull it up so I can give you it accurate. It's very small because there's not a lot going on there. Like they don't have, a bunch of amenities and things like that. It's just because here in Florida, when you build any type of subdivision, I want to say if it's got over 12 homes, you have to establish an HOA.
Mm-hmm.
But it is annually $660, $55 a month.
Okay. All right, great. And are there any restrictions for rentals? Do you know?
No, there aren't any restrictions for rentals, though.
Okay, that's good. So I can do short term?
Yes, you can do short term in there as well.
Okay, great. Awesome. I like the fact that it's newer. Someone like me who buys lots of rental properties, I like the fact that I'm probably not going to have any major expenses as I move forward the next few years. I assume that there's nothing that I would have to fix on this one or should be prepared to set aside some money on, right?
No, you shouldn't. I mean, like you said, it's built 2020, and both people that live there are military. The first owner that had it, he really didn't live in there. As soon as he bought it, he had to move to another. It wasn't far from where we were, but where it is, he had to move to like Crestview area to go to another different Air Force base, and then so he decided to sell it. And then the young lady that has it now, she's Navy, and she took another ranked up and then took another position. So she's actually leaving earlier than she was planning on too, and having to go to Jacksonville. So it's not only there's probably 5 people that stayed in it totally. If that she has just her and her daughter, and then it was just him and his wife. I believe that was been staying in there before. So the usage is not being used at all, really.
Is most of your business military?
I definitely do have a lot of military. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's a good population to work with.
It's probably about 60-40. So it's about 60. When I first started, it wasn't that much military, but over the last few years, it's turned out to be a lot of military, mostly Navy.
Yeah. Well, they get great loans, and the qualification process isn't terribly difficult, so they're good clients to have.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's very cool. If just out of curiosity, I know that you guys have been on the market for a little bit. Do you guys have any offers on the table that the sellers are considering?
Currently, right now, no. Mm-mm.
Okay. What's the activity been like?
We've been getting we've got a decent amount of activity, just no offers yet, and it's kind of what we've been running into just in our market lately. People showing, and some people just kind of not pulling the trigger, or when it comes to the buyers, they kind of have a little more options. When it comes to purchasing, they just have some more options, so they kind of go other places. So, but our average days on the market here in our area is about 65 days before it goes under contract. We like to go under contract faster than that, but when you look at the average, it's about 65 days.
Okay, good.
So we're still kind of early in the market.
Good.
Really.
Yeah, that's good. If I came in with a cash offer, is there any flexibility at all in the price?
Oh, there is potential. There is potential on that. Like I said, with her leaving, she really doesn't stand to make a lot of money. And she just might even owe money to sell this place. Just because she's leaving, she's having to get out. She's only been there a year and a half. So, but as far as when if I'm writing the offer for you, right, and representing, taking care of both clients at the same time, I do adjust. I do kind of adjust. I'm already listed a little lower than we normally do, but I do adjust that for and in this case too as well. We do try to do our best, because I try to keep them from having to pay anything out of their pocket to sell a house, but it just all depends on where you can be at.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. I bet you've gotten a ton of subject to offers, right?
Oh man, it's been insane. More than ever. More than I've had it before, but as of late, I currently have 5 active listings, and I'm talking about, I've never seen the amount of subject to. And then the hardest part for subject to when it comes to military, and with the military is that, with them going and trying to use their VA again, they have to have a certain amount of entitlement. Traditionally, you'll see someone that's been in the military for their higher rank, so they have a pretty good income, so they can withhold, show 2 mortgages, and even with showing the other one, some lenders don't want to lend to them if they have with them having that. They don't have enough entitlement, basically. Yeah,
and entitlement's always a big question when it comes to those sorts of things. And what's really interesting, I'm bringing that up because I'd noticed that this is a situation where, and exactly like you said, where the sellers are walking away with very little, if having to pay money at closing, and that's obviously not the ideal situation. The subject to it. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. Sometimes it does, especially for VA. The key is finding out what their eligibility is for their entitlement for their next property. what's really interesting too, and I don't know if have you ever completed a subject to transaction?
I have not. Every seller that I presented one to have just they're like, no, we don't want to. We don't even want to deal with that.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
That I've had multiple I've presented, and they're like, no. And then so that's when I started. I would say probably about 2 years ago when I really first heard about the subject to is when they started coming out. So I'm like, let me do some research and I mean, like you said, I know that it could make sense for some people, but it seems like most of everybody that I presented to, they didn't understand it, and they were just kind of like, no, we don't want to. We want to be free and clear of this. We don't want anything tied to this property at all. We don't want our name tied to a mortgage or anything.
I totally get it. So I'm looking at this a couple of different ways. I initially was going to call you and present a cash offer on this potentially, but what I don't want to do is give them an offer which would require them to pay more at close, and that's probably what my cash offer would do, and I don't want to do that. So at this point, what I'll probably do is I'll probably sit on the sidelines and just keep an eye on it. But I did want to touch base with you and just say hi.
Okay.
In terms of, I know that they're not considering subject to right now. They may never, but my new goal is to show you how it could work for a future client so that you're prepared, because you're in a VA area where there's going to be lots of opportunities for that for you. So I'll stay in touch with you on this and see if we can possibly work together on something else. And having said that, you said that you have 5 current listings. Are any of those good for rental opportunities that maybe you can send over to me?
Yeah, I have one that needs it's one that needs a little bit of love. It's listed at 200 right now. They can come down on it a little bit. And it's a livable home. It just really needs updating. And it really needs some updating on it, but it's that does have potential. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 4-bedroom, 2-bath, and right over 1,500 square feet. Has a detached double garage. The rent on it probably would be no more than about 1,200, maybe 1,300, and that's with like cleaning. It needs to be cleaned and stuff. Like I haven't got pictures of the inside yet because they got to clean some stuff out. It was an elderly lady, and so they're cleaning that out. Another one I have, I really he's listed a lot higher than I really wanted to list it at, and so we've been really struggling with that one. And it needs like $40,000-$50,000 of work to it. Another one. Now, this client is VA as well, and it's in a nice desired area called the Cove here in Panama City. It's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,581 square feet, and it's listed at. We just actually dropped the price to $269, and it's a nice home. It could use some. It's been updated in some areas. But it is an older home. These homes in the Cove are like built in from like 1940s to newer. But most of the homes are like 1940 and been updated. And so it's kind of like an area where a lot of millennials like to live at because it's close to downtown and things like that. So the rentability of this one is pretty good as well.
Mm-hmm.
I would think you're probably looking at somewhere around about like 1,600 to 1,800 maybe on that. And it's at $269.
Okay. Hey, Jonathan, I'm kind of curious. You mentioned that overpriced listing where the seller, it might be a little bit unrealistic. Mm-hmm. I'm curious from an agent's perspective, and I've always been curious about this. How do you handle that as an agent if a seller is being unrealistic with their pricing? Are you just kind of waiting for the market to dictate what the value is and to show that to the seller?
Well, for me, to be honest, this is probably one of the listings I just should not have taken, to be honest. Like sometimes you can't take all business, to be honest, because, like the good thing that this property is doing for me, that I think, is I have a sign in the yard and it's advertising. Cause like that, you know what I mean? My name is out there. So people that drive by, they're gonna call, and people in the neighborhood that see, like, that's gonna be the biggest thing for me, unless I can get, cause like we're listed at 260 on this property, and it's a nice lot, and it's an older home, and it, like I said, it needs some work on the inside. And then and he's like a stickler on his price, and he's like he's been difficult a little bit. And because I told him, like, look, I think if you really want to sell it, we need to be at about 230. Like, I think 230 will get you there. Somebody can put 230, put the 50 in it. The ARV on this, you're probably looking at somewhere around about 335 to 350.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, so I'm like, and he's like, let's go. He wanted to sell it at 280, and I'm like, bro, you can't. It's like, you know what I mean? Just can't happen. You know, let's be realistic. So then we agreed on this to try this, and which we really hadn't been on that long either. I think we've been 20 days on the market with it, and we've had a few showings, but everybody's seen the same thing with me. So it's kind of like you just let it go through until he gets to that point to say, all right, you know, because this is what I believe too. You know, you do have some people that like to test the waters, right, when they try to list. They're like, let's see what we can do. I think if nobody just goes, I think I want to sell something and let me try it. Like, they really want to sell it. They either need money, they either need the money to sell it, or they have a plan to want to move, in which he does. He has a plan that he wants to go over the road with him and his fiance, and she has a CDL and all this stuff, so he's trying to do that and basically not be here in this area anymore. So he has a motive, and so that's kind of what I'm letting the time go by, and then I can go, hey man, we've been on the market for 30 plus days. We haven't had an offer yet. Like, and I remind them back of their motive of why they really wanted to sell, so they're not. Because he's just like, no, I think it's worth this, and I'm like, it's only worth what somebody wants to pay for it, first of all.
Exactly.
And you know what I mean? I said, so just because even if the market says it's worth this, it's only worth what the person that's buying it says it is, because they're the one that's spending the money, and then obviously if it's land, the appraisal and all that, but it's only worth what the buyer themselves wanted at. And so that's why, I always tell my sellers that, and like on this one, it's definitely going to be a difficult sell. And so, like I said, in some cases, it's probably one that I should not have, I should have said, nah, man, you can either find someone else, because if I'm telling you what my expertise are, this is what I believe it's worth, we should go with that. Or we could try it and then let's have a negotiate, we can negotiate down and see. So,
yeah,
like I said, the biggest thing that this one's doing for me currently right now is I haven't signed any yard with my name on it.
It's marketing for you.
Marketing, yeah, exactly. So that's kind of what, I mean, I hope it sells. I hope it sells for them, because that's, that's what it is. And I am pushing it out there to my investors and things, but they're with me, like I'm going to advise people on the way I advise a seller, so I'm not going to go tell, if you called me and you were interested in the property, I'm going to tell you what it's really worth. I'm going to say, look, I think you're going to ask for my opinion, and that's the only way I can serve my people,
Mm-hmm.
on the buyer side or the seller side. I'm not going to be like, oh yeah, it's worth 260, you should do it.
Yeah. So
like,
so that seller, sorry to interrupt you, Jonathan. I was just curious. So that seller, it sounds like he has a plan of what he's doing next, and maybe he has an idea of how much money he needs to get out of this property to continue on that plan. But is this a situation where it sounds to me like he's stuck on his price, which is I get it. There are sellers who are stuck on price. Would he seller finance it to somebody?
No, he don't. He wants cash and go.
Yeah.
He wants cash and out, like, because I asked about that too, right? I was like, well, if you want to leave, somebody can give you we can do maybe we can do seller finance, and somebody give you a nice hefty, down payment on it. We come up with some terms. He's like, nope.
Yeah.
He's different. He's not regular. I'll tell you that he's not regular.
It's funny.
He's just not regular. He's and not everybody wants to do seller financing. I'm not even saying that's the reason why he's not regular. I'm saying he's just a different dude. He's wild. He's pretty wild. So it's like, he's like, no, it's worth this, and I'm like, look, sir, this is, you know. And so no, so he's a different type of dude. He wants his money. Like he literally doesn't owe much on it at all. He got it for a heck of a crazy deal, first of all. And then he took a mortgage out on it himself, and he owes very little. And he stands to make a pretty good penny. But I do think if somebody came close to the offer, right? Because this is how it normally works. No, you know what I'm saying? Like, somebody seeing the price right now, most people probably know, they're like, this guy isn't realistic. He's not really realistic on what he's selling for. So they might not even want to make an offer on the property because they don't want to, be disrespectful and say, look, I want to send an offer at $220,000 for it.
Yeah.
Because that's $40,000 off of what you're asking. So, like, some people be like, they're not going to bother. He must not be serious. So I think that's kind of where we're at on that. But I feel, because this is what he told me the other day, because we started getting some action, and he told me the other day, he was like, I want 260, and I won't take less than 260. I'm like, that's not what we talked about, man. We said if somebody came, if somebody came and offered, you would consider an offer. Now so if somebody came in at 259.5, you wouldn't take that. It's like you wouldn't take it. So, but I think if somebody came in closer to his offer with the right, with a cash offer, and I think he would take it. Because I've dealt with people before that say the same thing. I'm not taking less than this, and then, they do.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I was asking all about those, how you handle those, because we do something kind of similar whenever we're dealing directly with a seller, for example, and they're unrealistic. Is we'll say, okay, cool. Well, why don't we just throw it out there to the people that we know who are looking to buy it? They'll give us an offer, and I'll show those to you, and then that's your market, right? Just as you said, despite the market saying the number's X, it's really what a buyer's looking for. And the way that I look at it is really the buyers are dictating what the market is. They are the market.
They are the market, exactly.
Yeah. So, what we'll do in that situation is we'll simply show that to an owner, and then they come back down to reality real quick. And so, for you, it's a little bit different. It's a really good marketing opportunity for you. For us, it's more of let's put in the mind of the seller what a realistic value is. And so that's why I was kind of curious to learn a little bit more about what you're up to.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, it's in most people you can, like I said, you can. I can do that, like with them, and this guy is just a little different right now, and I think that he's one that the time is going to make him realize, okay, all right, if I really want to sell this, I have to really play ball and listen to what my guy's telling me. And I think he's one of those that's on that level. Cause like I said, he's a pretty wild dude. So he don't want to really listen to nothing you got to say. It was like pulling teeth. Like I said, if he wouldn't have came down to 260, I would not have listed it, because he was like 280. And I'm like, dude, first of all, where are you getting a number at? Like, you're not a market expert. You don't know what you're looking like. Where do you come up with? Because a lot of times that's how sellers are. They have an idea in their head, like, this is what I think is worth. It's like, that's not realistic. Or they'll get on Zillow, look on an estimate, and it'll say, your property is worth this. And that's not always accurate, even though Zillow has over the last about 4 or 5 years have gotten a lot better with their estimates and getting close. They're not always accurate. So you can either be losing money or just be wrong in what you think the value is.
Well, and Zillow doesn't also know the condition of the interior of your home. So
yeah, exactly. They don't know any of that.
Yeah. So if someone has to put in $50,000 to make it worth this estimate, that's a whole different story altogether. And that's part of the problem that we run into a lot, are sellers saying, yeah, my market is saying it's worth $300,000, but it's going to cost you $50,000 to make it worth $300,000.
To make it worth $300,000. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, exactly. So So do you ever, it sounds like you work with kind of fixers sometimes. Do you ever come across anything that, is in need of kind of big work, a rehab type of property?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Awesome. We're
Yeah.
also interested in some of those in that area as well. So I think it's worth us staying in touch for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. I'm, you run into some realtors that like they have a niche and like they stick in certain things. My niche is people. That's what I do. Like my broker, they're like, we like to have people. You want to have people with niches and like we work on this type. I'm like, no, I can sell a $3,000 lot and I can sell a $3 million property. It's it. I'm in this business to serve people and whoever I know and whatever they have is what I serve. So I'm not going to pin myself down to one thing. So I will sell a fixer upper and I will sell a new construction if I have a builder that
like
want to sell them for.
Your niche is closed transactions. I like that.
Exactly. I didn't want to say my niche is closing the transaction and getting a check. That's
food on the table. Hey, so I'll stay in touch with you, Jonathan, on anything that you have, and I'll send you over my contact information so you have it. The one on Brighton, as you probably know, you're gonna continue to get tons of subject to information from people. We do a lot of them, so if you guys do decide to go down that road, I'd love to work with you. In fact, I'm happy to answer any questions that you have regarding any other offers that do come in. If anything interests your seller, reach out to me and I'll take a look at it and see if it makes sense. There are a lot of people out there who aren't doing them but are offering to do them. You know what I mean? So I'm happy to show you.
Because I can tell you, I've had people call. I've had one I've had a few of like a handful of them that they seem to be like YouTube subject offer too. Like they just like seen it on YouTube. Because like I had a guy call me one day. He called me like 3 different times within a week about one of my properties, and he's like trying to figure his best way out. And like I'm like, you're not even providing any value on the side of what this even is. If I wanted even to present it to my seller, and then I've had ones that send me something and it's great, like it's a detailed and and have a whole process and all that stuff. And so those are the ones that I present. I do present to my sellers.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because that means all right, they know what they're doing. And because like I said, it's most people. There's some people out here that's like that it's a scam. It's a scam. I'm like it's not a scam. I think there's some people that don't know what they're doing with it, and the people are scared of it, but there's so many ways to buy and sell real estate. So
that's a great point. And I think that the fear from a lot of agents is just it's not traditional. It's not what they're used to, which makes sense. It makes perfect sense. And it does solve a very specific type of problem too. It's not for everyone. The way that I heard a really interesting analogy about it yesterday, and the analogy was that if you're skydiving, the primary parachute is conventional financing, right? You want that. Hopefully that works. But if it doesn't, then your second parachute is creative financing, sub 2 or seller finance or something like that. And you hope that you don't need it, but if you do need it, it's there. And so I like that analogy a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, let's stay in touch, Jonathan. I hope that you close lots of deals because your niche is closing transactions, and I appreciate that. And I'll stay in touch with you, okay?
All right, man. Appreciate the call.
Hey, can you do me a huge favor and text me over your email address?
Yes, I got you. I'll shoot it to you.
Thank you, Jonathan. Have a great day.
All right, really too.
Bye-bye. I didn't know if I wanted to have a one-call session. That was a 27-minute phone call. What I wanted to do there, just because he kept talking, was to figure out what the angle was with him. And I think that the angle with him is that he is open to creative finance. So from a creative finance standpoint, he's a great agent to build a relationship with. He will call us back if he comes across a creative finance opportunity in his market. And he'll also bring us, I think, off-market fix and flips. That's way down the road. But he's a really cool agent. He can tell the difference between someone who is spitballing sub 2 and then someone who is actually talking about sub 2 in a knowledgeable way. And hopefully I fit into that second category. but he's a really cool agent. I liked him a lot. What I want to do here is I want to follow up. And if I follow up with him and just say, hey, how are all those subject to offers coming? Any change in the seller's mindset whatsoever? The answer is going to be no for a little while, but we'll be there eventually to pick up the pieces if they do need help, or if they get into a contract with someone else on a sub 2 and that thing goes awry, right? We want to be available to them should something happen. So I'm just going to keep an eye on this. How cool would it have been if I had one call for our entire session? That would have been pretty cool. Okay, so I'm going to set a 14-day follow-up for that guy. Let's see, 14 days from today. Okay. All right, we got his email address. Okay. Let's keep on rolling. My average call times today are going to be insane. I've been on the phone. I think I made 4 or 5 phone calls today. I had one 35-minute phone call, one 27-minute phone call, 14, 8. It's been a busy day.
Ali Sapa here, real estate agent, Century 21 in Harrison. I'm unable to take your call at the moment, but if you could leave a message or reach out to me at 843-55.
Good morning.
Good morning, Stephen. How are you? This is Mike.
Hey, Mike. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. You and I have been playing a little bit of phone tag about that Rome Lane listing, so I wanted to give you a call and just touch base.
Hey, I appreciate it.
No worries.
So you sending me an offer on it?
Potentially. I wanted to touch base with you first before I do send you an offer. The reason that I was calling you about it in the first place is I'm looking for a rental property in that area to buy. And so I'm curious if there's any sort of rental restriction on this, or if there's anything that I need to be made aware of before I do decide to write an offer or not.
Mike, no rental restrictions that I'm aware of. I mean, a lot of houses in that neighborhood are rental properties, so I'm basing it on that fact.
Okay. In terms of the condition of the home, I can see it here on Zillow. That's where I found it. Is there anything that I should know that maybe not may not be listed here on Zillow that I would have to fix or be prepared to fix in the next couple of years?
I will take, and the seller's going to take care of this. On the back deck, he got the grill a little too close to the vinyl siding, and it warped a little bit. So he's in the process of having that replaced. But other than that, no, it's move-in ready.
Okay, cool. And it's not vacant, right? They're still living there?
They're still occupying the property. I will tell you that it does not have natural gas, but the fireplace is operated on propane. So there is a leased propane tank that sits outside of the garage.
Okay. And do they have a service to fill that up?
Yeah. Suburban is the propane supplier in this area, and they basically take it when the tank gets low. You call them and they'll come out and refill it for you.
And that only provides gas to the fireplace?
Only to the fireplace. Everything else about the home is electric.
Okay, cool. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah, and the garage has a split heating and air conditioning unit. So basically, if somebody's looking to use that garage as a workshop or something like that, it does have heat and air.
Okay, that's good to know.
Some of these people that originally owned it too, because they did handed the floor.
Yeah, we knew the previous owner of the property, and they took excellent care of it. He's a contractor, so he kept the house maintained.
The hardwood floors itself and stained them, and a lot of nice extras in it because of that.
Okay, good. Good, that's great. And then you mentioned in the listing here the backyard shed does not convey. They're taking that with them, I assume?
It is a lease to own, and they have about $1,500 left on the bill on that. And so if somebody wanted to take over that payment or wanted to buy it, they would, take care of that, or they can have it hauled off, whichever.
Okay, cool. Yeah, that was my question, to see if we could just simply take that over. It sounds like there's not a whole lot left on that lease. So that would work just fine. And I know that you guys are brand new on the market. Generally, what I would do in a situation like this is I typically purchase my rentals with cash. And so what I don't want to do, though, is necessarily give you my cash offer if you guys are getting a ton of activity on this. What's the activity been like so far?
Well, we've only been on for like 2 days.
Uh-huh.
So, haven't been inundated, but have had some inquiries. Yeah.
And do you guys have an open house this weekend?
No, didn't have one planned at the moment.
Okay. Okay, cool. Well, let's leave it at this then. I'm going to see if I can make the numbers work on my end. If I can, I'll give you a call back and we'll schedule a showing for it and just see it in person
Absolutely.
before I submit something.
We'll love to work with you, Mike. Let me know if the numbers work, and we can go from there.
Thank you, Stephen. I appreciate you. Have a good day.
Hey, you too, my friend. Talk
Bye-bye.
to you later.
I don't want this deal. This is a 30-day follow-up for me. This is a really big equity spread. And so the property is listed around 330. They owe 281, which means with a traditional sale, they're going to net around $22,000. The problem with me submitting a creative offer here, unless this is a 3% loan, and it's not because they purchased the house within the last 18 months. The problem is they're going to probably look for around $20,000 down. If I give them $20,000 down, that eats into my entry fee percentage really, really quickly, because generally I want to be just shy of 10% with an assignment fee in there if I choose to assign a deal. If I choose to buy it, lower the better, right? But I'm willing to buy personally a 10% entry fee. So if I buy it for $300,000, I give them 20, we're already at 6.7%. Then I have closing costs, agents' commissions, and I'm probably going to be closer to 13, 14% or so. So I'm going to wait to see if the price reduces on this. And that's how I'm going to handle this one. So this is a 30-day follow-up for me. We'll see where it goes. At that point, I'm sure that the agents will have been body blowed to death by other investors. This agent and I have been playing phone tag for about 2 days. So I think that she's a pretty ambitious agent. I'm curious to hear what she sounds like on the phone.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, Noelle, how's it going?
Going good, thank you. Good. I'm sorry I wasn't able to pick up right away yesterday.
No. You're super busy. I apologize for the same. Sorry, hold on one sec. I know you've been calling me, so we're both busy people. It sounds like.
I know, it's a good thing, I guess.
And you're an expert at phone tag, by the way. Your follow through and perseverance is going to get you far in the game of phone tag.
Oh, thank you. I'm trying. Yeah,
Well,
I'm trying.
I was calling you about your listing, obviously the one on Popsicle Crossing. What a name, by the way. I love that.
Yeah, I know, right? I love it too.
It's super cool. And so just to kind of give you some background, what I do is I'm always looking for rental properties. I'm looking to buy rental properties. Mm-hmm. And so that's the perspective that I'm looking at this from. And anytime I call on a property in Florida, my biggest concern is always what the HOA is going to do.
Yeah.
And so can you tell me a little bit about this HOA, maybe the cost, and if there are any restrictions at all on it?
So there is a rental restriction of 1 year.
Okay.
So you can't do short-term rentals. But down in Florida, as you probably know, you really don't want to do anything less than 6 months because then you get that extra percentage tax.
Right.
And most people, we find, I mean, we do property management as well with Nine Line Realty. And we find that most people do want a year rental. So unless they want short-term, in a seasonal.
And frankly, they're better renters. In my personal opinion, I'd rather
Right.
have someone there who's committed to staying there and keeping the property up as opposed to someone who's going to be there for very short term and they don't care about the property once they leave. So
Agreed. Yeah, agreed. Let's see. I'm trying to, in my brain, pull up here Summerwoods. I think I'm remembering it's like $9 for the HOA. Isn't that what I have in the listing? It's very low. There is a CDD fee. Hold on, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. I'm out.
You're right on the HOA, by the way. It's $10 monthly.
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm looking here in Zillow, so I don't have all the MLS information that you have available to you.
Yeah, I knew it was like 8 or 10. Yeah. So super low HOA. There is a CDD fee annually, but it's. Let me see if I can pull it quick while we're talking here. Where are you calling from? What state?
I live in Texas.
Oh, okay. What part?
I live in Austin.
Oh, I love Austin.
It's a great place. Are you from
I was
Florida?
in Dallas for a number of years, and I was in Allen, Dallas, and loved that.
What brought you to Dallas? Are you from here?
I'm not. I'm a Chicago girl, actually, and just got tired of the weather and decided to move out and just find some sunshine. And so lived in Dallas for quite a while, then moved back to the Chicago area, and now I'm back. Now I'm down in Florida again because I love sunshine and palm trees. And
You found the right place.
that's how it worked. Yeah. Oh, I love it down here. It's amazing.
Good. Yeah. My only complaint here in Texas, and you've experienced this in Dallas, I'm sure. I'm originally from Southern California, and I'm from like the beach cities in California. So we get, the temperature range is like 10 degrees one way or the other where I'm from.
Mm-hmm.
And here in Texas, it's very, very wide. It can go from
Huge swing.
0 to 115.
I know. It's crazy. And it's so sad the way now that it's been getting so cold, it is so sad what's happening down there just because the infrastructure can't support it.
It's brutal. We've lost water I lost water for 8 days, and you don't really realize how lucky you are until you lose something like water or electricity,
Yeah.
We're so dependent on those things.
What did you even do for 8 days?
Well,
That must have gotten ugly.
well, yeah, it was. I have 2 young kids, and so that was a hassle. Luckily, we had electricity and we had gas.
Okay.
And so our house
Yeah.
was warm, and our house was the warmest of all of the houses on the block because we're at the end of the line. And so a lot of our neighbors would come over during the day and we'd just kind of hang out in our house.
Yeah.
But we would,
Yeah.
we were brought water from the police departments. And then
Okay.
we had to melt ice and snow in the backyard to use our toilets, which was kind of brutal.
Wow. Yeah, you have to just, yeah. So down here in Florida, we do know that we could lose water. And so we have lots of extra water in case of hurricanes, just to, pour a half gallon down the toilet. So at least the toilets would work.
Yeah.
But,
It's something I
or
was
you can
unfamiliar
fill the
with.
bathtub. That's the other trick that they say. If you know the weather's going to start coming, just fill up your bathtub and at least you'll have that water for toilets.
Well, it's funny is as a California kid, when the storm was coming, first of all, I didn't know that I had to winterize a property. I didn't even know what that was.
Right.
Secondly, when the storm came, they said, yeah, fill up your bathtubs and get lots of buckets. Go to Home Depot and get buckets. And then also cover your spigots, right? The water outside.
Yeah.
And all this sounded crazy to me, but now I realize why it's all done. So you learn once.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, okay. Getting back to this property on Popsicle, I can send you I'm not able to quickly pull up the CDD information, but I can grab it, screenshot it, and text it over to you.
Yeah, I'll don't do that quite yet. I'm always curious. Yeah, don't do that yet. I don't want to put you to work quite yet.
Okay.
The CDD, do you know when that's fully paid off?
Oh, I mean, it's probably 30.
Oh, it's a long
So
time.
that CDD is something that you can expect for a very long time. Yeah.
Okay.
Community development, so it's putting in the roads and infrastructure.
Got it. What's the activity bid on this listing? It looks like it's a really cool house.
It's a great house. It's we actually had it rented first, and it's owned by a veteran who he's active duty, and they had to move, and so we are just looking to sell it, or we might rent it again for them. But I think they're ready to just sell it and move on because they've now moved on. So
Okay. Typically with something like this, I would offer cash, but I think I'm a little bit concerned about their equity position. It looks like it's a really tight situation. Is that right?
I don't have it in front of me, so I'm not exactly sure.
Okay. I'll take a look at that. I never want to put, especially a veteran in a position where they may have to pay at closing. So I don't know if that's the case here or not, but I'll take a further look and give you a call back and we can talk further about it.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that they would be very interested of course, they'd be interested in a cash offer and a quick closing and that, sometimes will compute with the amount. So
yeah,
they're open to talking, and so am I.
Would they be open to just leaving that mortgage in place and us taking that over?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
They wouldn't be. Well, I mean, they do you could assume the VA loan, I suppose, possibly. But the problem with assuming a VA loan is it takes 4 to 6 months.
Yeah, it takes forever.
And we're not going to leave it empty for that long. So
yeah,
that wouldn't make sense.
And there's also no benefit for me assuming it because they're not going to retain their eligibility, their entitlement is a better word to use.
Right.
Because I'm not a veteran.
Yeah. Right.
So
okay. Yeah, so I don't think that would make sense. But if you have a cash offer that you would be interested in submitting, I'll certainly present it to them and we can see where we can go with it.
I appreciate that, Noelle. Thank you so much.
Nice chatting. Bye-bye, Mike.
You too. Another cool agent. I seem to get talkative people today. What I wanted to do there is just bring up the idea of it. Let it slowly seep in. The next call that I'm going to have with her it's a call about, hey, have you ever done something like this? I'm just kind of curious what your experience has been. This is what we do a lot of. And if you guys choose to go down this road, I'm happy to be a resource for you or buy it, hopefully, right? So I'm going to follow up in 10 days. Okay. Let me set a follow-up date. All right, let's keep on rolling. This is our fifth lead we've called so far. So we've had long phone calls, obviously.
Yeah, that's Virginia Lee phone.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
Hello?
Hi, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Hi, Virginia, it's Mike. How you doing?
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I've been trying to call you for the past couple days on that Forest Lake listing that you have.
Yes, sir.
Is now a good time to touch base?
Yes, this is her.
Perfect. I love your accent, by the way.
Thank you.
I am looking for a rental property in Chester, and
Okay.
not to rent myself, but to buy and then rent. And so that's how I'm looking at this property. I guess I'm kind of curious. There's no HOA here, right?
Correct.
Okay. And so, are there any rental restrictions at all on this?
Not to my knowledge, no, sir.
Okay, great. All right. And I know the house is a little bit older. When was the last time it was renovated?
This year, well, 2022.
Okay. And so,
Sorry, 2023. 2023.
was it a flip initially?
No, someone lives there.
Okay. And then just renovated it themselves?
Correct.
Got it. Is there anything that would have to be fixed? Anything mechanical, plumbing, roof, that sort of thing?
Not to my knowledge, no.
Okay, great. Awesome. What do you think this would rent for?
We actually had someone look at it, and they came in around 2,700.
Oh, that's pretty good. It's a really good price, actually.
Yeah.
If
Because we were thinking about renting it instead, so we had a property management company look at it.
okay, and they chose not to go that direction.
No, they decided they wanted to sell instead.
Okay. Okay, cool. If I come in with a cash offer, is there any flexibility in the price at all?
It's hard for me to say. I present all offers to the sellers.
Okay. I'll take a look at it and I'll see if it's worth me submitting a cash offer. If it is, then I'll give you a call back and I'll send you over that offer.
Oh, okay. That sounds great. Did you want the information to the management company that we spoke to?
No, that's okay. That's okay. I
Okay.
appreciate that, though. Thank you, Virginia.
All right, then thank you. I do appreciate it.
All right, guys, let's wrap it up for today. Lots of really good phone calls. I think that we actually, not a lot. I think we had 5, but every single one of them lasted more than 10 minutes or so. So thank you guys so much for your support. Appreciate you guys. I will see you again tomorrow. Have a good day.